When you focus on personal growth, something profound begins to happen. You shift the narrative of your life. You stop worrying about what others think or what they expect, and you start building the foundation of a life so strong, so exceptional, that it speaks for itself. Personal growth isn't about announcing your goals or seeking validation from others. It's about putting in the work, quietly and diligently, day after day, until the results are undeniable. Imagine the power of transformation. When you commit to growth, you begin to elevate yourself in every aspect of life, emotionally, physically, intellectually, and spiritually. The truth is, no one can take away what you've earned through perseverance and dedication. And the beauty of this process, it's quiet. It doesn't need to be explained or announced. Excellence radiates naturally, and it commands attention without saying a word. But let's dig deeper. Why is personal growth so powerful? It's because it forces you to take responsibility for your life. Growth starts when you stop blaming others and begin looking inward. Are you showing up as the best version of yourself? Are you pouring energy into things that matter? Or are you distracted by trivialities? When you choose to grow, you take control of your story. You stop living in the shadow of what could have been and start creating a future that leaves no room for regret. Let's be real. Focusing on yourself might feel lonely at times. There will be moments when people won't understand your silence or your absence. That's okay. Growth often happens in solitude. It's in those quiet hours, away from the noise, where the real work gets done. While others are busy seeking attention, you're sharpening your skills, deepening your knowledge, and building your resilience. And when the results come to light, they'll speak so loudly that no explanation will be needed. Nevertheless, you feel your fighting power increasing when you become more interesting, more influential, more literate. Think about it. What's more powerful, telling someone you've changed or letting them see it for themselves? When you quietly focus on bettering yourself, you give others the opportunity to witness your transformation firsthand. And trust me, they will notice. They'll notice the confidence in your stride, the strength in your demeanor, and the clarity in your vision. They'll notice how you've elevated your life to a level they never anticipated. Growth also brings an undeniable sense of self-respect. You start to see yourself differently, and that energy radiates outward. When you respect yourself, others will follow suit. It's not about arrogance or proving a point. It's about quietly saying to the world, I know my worth. And when you live with that mindset, it leaves an indelible impression on those around you, especially on those who underestimated you. Here's the thing about personal growth. It's not just about you. When you grow, you inspire others to do the same. Your silent transformation becomes a beacon for anyone who feels stuck or lost. They see your journey and realize that change is possible, that they too can rise above their circumstances. And that's the ultimate power of focusing on yourself. It creates a ripple effect that goes far beyond what you could have imagined. Now let's talk about what happens when this kind of transformation meets someone who doubted you or took you for granted. They might not say it out loud, but they'll feel it. They'll feel the weight of your absence, the impact of your growth, and the realization that they lost something extraordinary. And the best part? You didn't do it for them. You didn't grow out of spite or a need for revenge. You grew because you knew you deserved better, and that's a lesson they'll carry with them long after you've moved on. As you pursue personal growth, remember this. The goal isn't perfection, and it's not about impressing anyone. It's about progress. It's about showing up every day and doing the work, even when no one is watching. Because the real reward isn't external validation. It's the inner peace that comes from knowing you're living up to your potential. So if you're wondering how to leave an impression without saying a word, this is it. Focus on your growth. Build a life so fulfilling, so remarkable that it speaks for itself. Let your actions tell the story. Let your success be the proof. And let your silence be the loudest statement of all. In the end, the greatest gift you can give yourself is the commitment to become the best version of who you are meant to be. And the greatest gift you can give others is the inspiration to do the same. Let your life be a testament to the power of quiet transformation, a living reminder that growth is possible and excellence is within reach. Remember this. When you focus on yourself, you're not just changing your life, you're changing the way the world sees you. And that, my friend, is a move that will leave them speechless. Maintain your composure and grace. There's a certain power in composure, in carrying yourself with grace, especially when the world around you feels chaotic, or when others are watching, waiting to see how you'll react. Composure is not weakness, it's strength under control. It's the ability to navigate life's challenges without being rattled, to show up in every situation with a calm that speaks volumes. Small breakthroughs in Permut propelled me to, and in relationships, especially those that have tested your spirit, maintaining your composure is one of the most dignified and impactful moves you can make. Why does composure matter so much? Because in the silence of your restraint, you communicate something profound. You are in control of yourself. No one can force your hand or pull you into their storm. When you remain composed, you're choosing peace over chaos, dignity over drama. And that choice isn't just about what others see, it's about what you tell yourself. It's a statement of self-respect, a declaration that your energy is too valuable to waste on things that do not serve your growth. But let's be real, maintaining composure isn't always easy. When you've been hurt, misunderstood, or underestimated, the temptation to react is strong. You might want to defend yourself, prove a point, or make someone feel the weight of their actions. Yet there's a certain power in choosing not to engage. You see, reacting often gives away your power. It hands control of your emotions to someone else. This empathy gives away your power and hands reiteration to your emotions. This empathy gives away your power. It hands control of your emotions. But when you respond with grace, or choose not to respond at all, you keep that power firmly in your hands. Think about it. Composure is an unspoken statement of strength. It says, I'm not easily shaken. And in a world that thrives on noise and conflict, that kind of quiet strength is rare and magnetic. It draws people in, not because you're making a scene, but because you're making an impression. It's the kind of strength that turns heads, makes others reflect, and often leaves those who doubted you in awe. Composure also creates space for clarity. When you're calm, you can think clearly and make decisions that align with your values. In the heat of the moment, emotions can cloud judgment, leading to actions you might later regret. But when you pause, take a breath, and hold your peace, you allow yourself the opportunity to respond from a place of wisdom rather than impulse. And that makes all the difference. There's another beautiful thing about composure. It sets a standard. When you carry yourself with grace, you show others how you expect to be treated. People learn quickly that you won't engage in pettiness, that you won't stoop to their level. And while some may see your calm demeanor as indifference, those who truly matter will recognize it for what it is: self-respect. They'll see that you're someone who values peace over conflict, growth over grudges, and progress over petty disputes. Let's talk about relationships for a moment. If someone has walked away from you, doubted you, or taken you for granted, how you carry yourself in their absence speaks volumes. Reacting with anger or bitterness only reinforces their decision to leave. But when you maintain your composure, when you continue to live your life with grace and purpose, it sends a powerful message. It says, I'm good, with or without you. And that message can be more impactful than any words you could ever say. In fact, your composure may be the very thing that causes someone to reflect on their actions. They might expect you to lash out or crumble, but when you rise above, it forces them to see you in a new light. It shows them that you're not defined by their opinions or decisions, that your worth isn't tied to their presence in your life. And sometimes that realization can leave them speechless with regret. But here's the key. Composure isn't about manipulation. It's not about pretending to be unbothered or using silence as a weapon. True composure comes from a place of genuine peace. It's about knowing that your value isn't diminished by someone else's inability to see it. It's about standing firm in who you are, regardless of how others treat you. And when you approach life with that mindset, you radiate a confidence that can't be ignored. So, how do you cultivate composure? Start by grounding yourself. Take time to reflect on what truly matters to you and let that guide your actions. Practice mindfulness so you're not easily swayed by the emotions of the moment. Surround yourself with people who uplift you and remind you of your worth. And most importantly, remember that composure is a choice to prioritize your peace, your growth, and your integrity above all else. In the end, composure is one of the most powerful moves you can make. It's not flashy and it doesn't demand attention, but its impact is undeniable. It leaves a lasting impression, not because of what you say, but because of how you carry yourself. And that kind of quiet strength speaks louder than words ever could. Remember this: when you maintain your composure, you're not just showing the world who you are, you're showing yourself who you can be. And that kind of self-assurance is a gift that no one can take away. Cultivate inner growth and success. True transformation begins within. When life challenges you, when circumstances demand you rise above the noise, and when you find yourself navigating the complexities of relationships, the most powerful move you can make is to focus on your own growth. Not just outwardly, but inwardly, because the seeds of change that we plant in our hearts and minds inevitably shape the life we create around us. Think about this for a moment. How often do we invest our energy in trying to fix external situations or convince others to see our value? We chase validation, hoping someone will recognize our worth, when in reality, the recognition we seek must first come from within. Growth isn't about proving a point to someone else. It's about becoming so rooted in your own purpose, your own peace, that nothing and no one can shake you. That's the kind of quiet transformation that leaves a lasting impact. Inner growth starts with self-awareness. It's about taking an honest inventory of where you are and where you want to be. What are the habits, thoughts, and patterns holding you back? What fears are keeping you from stepping into the fullness of your potential? Growth requires courage to confront the uncomfortable truths about yourself and the discipline to work through them. It's not about achieving perfection, but about striving for progress every single day. Now, let's talk about success. In a world that's constantly telling us what success should look like, fame, wealth, status, it's easy to lose sight of what success truly means to you. Maybe success isn't about climbing a corporate ladder or accumulating material things. Maybe it's about waking up each day with a sense of purpose, building relationships that nourish your soul, and contributing something meaningful to the world. Success is deeply personal, and when you define it on your own terms, you take back the power to live a life that's authentically yours. Here's the truth: your inner growth is directly tied to the kind of success you experience. When you invest in your personal development, you unlock new levels of confidence, creativity, and resilience. You begin to attract opportunities that align with your values and push you closer to your goals. And as you grow, the energy you bring into the world shifts. You become a person of substance, someone who doesn't just chase success, but embodies it. That's a quiet move that speaks louder than words. Focusing on growth and success is especially powerful in relationships. When someone has doubted you or underestimated your potential, the most impactful thing you can do is show, not tell, them who you truly are. You don't need to seek revenge or validation. Just pour your energy into becoming the best version of yourself. Let your growth speak for itself. Over time, the person who doubted you will see the undeniable evidence of your transformation, and they'll have no choice but to reevaluate their perspective. It's important to remember, though, that growth is not linear. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, and times when you feel like giving up. But every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Celebrate those wins. Remind yourself that progress is a journey, not a destination. And when you encounter obstacles, don't see them as failures. See them as opportunities to learn and strengthen your resolve. One of the most beautiful things about focusing on your growth is that it creates a ripple effect. As you rise, you inspire those around you to rise as well. Your commitment to bettering yourself becomes a beacon of hope, a reminder that transformation is possible for anyone willing to do the work. And that kind of influence is priceless. As you cultivate inner growth and success, you'll notice a shift in how you carry yourself. Your energy will change. You'll walk into rooms with a quiet confidence that commands respect. You'll handle challenges with a calm that others can't help but admire. And you'll find that the more you focus on your own growth, the less you'll be concerned about what others think. Your life becomes a reflection of your values, not their expectations. So how do you start? Begin by setting clear intentions for your growth. What areas of your life do you want to improve? What habits do you need to build or break? Surround yourself with people who uplift you and challenge you to be better. Seek out mentors, books, and experiences that stretch your thinking. And most importantly, stay consistent. Growth doesn't happen overnight, but with time and effort, it will happen. In the end, cultivating inner growth and success isn't just about proving someone wrong or leaving them speechless with regret. It's about proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you imagined. It's about creating a life that feels rich and fulfilling, not because of what you have, but because of who you've become. Remember this: the most powerful transformation happens in the quiet moments, in the decisions you make when no one is watching. So keep growing, keep striving, and trust that your efforts will not only elevate your life, but inspire others to rise with you. Growth is the ultimate move, and it's one that will never go unnoticed. Harnessing the power of silence and self-respect. There's a unique strength in silence that's often misunderstood. In a world filled with constant noise, voices clamoring for attention, validation, and recognition, it takes a special kind of courage to choose silence. Not silence as avoidance, but silence as mastery, silence as a form of self-respect and empowerment. When you stop explaining, stop defending, and stop trying to force someone to see your value, you reclaim a piece of yourself that is priceless. You see, silence isn't about weakness or indifference. It's about recognizing your worth and understanding that you don't need to prove it to anyone who fails to see it. Imagine this: a diamond doesn't beg to be noticed, it simply exists in its brilliance. And those who have the vision to recognize its value will honor it. The same is true for you. There is power in allowing your actions, your energy, and your presence to speak for you, louder than any words ever could. When someone underestimates you, it's tempting to engage, to argue, to demand acknowledgement. But often the most impactful response is none at all. It's in those moments of silence that you communicate an unshakable confidence. You're saying, "I know who I am and I don't need to prove it to you." That kind of quiet self-assurance leaves a mark. It plants a seed in the mind of the other person, making them reflect on what they've overlooked, and in time they'll realize the depth of what they've lost. Silence also creates space for reflection, both yours and theirs. It's in the stillness that clarity emerges. You begin to see the situation for what it truly is, not clouded by emotion or the need to respond. And for the other person, your silence forces them to sit with their own thoughts, their own regrets. It's a powerful reminder that your peace is not theirs to disturb. It's because of your peace within yourself that your peace is not theirs to disturb. Now, let's talk about self-respect. Silence, when paired with self-respect, becomes a force that's impossible to ignore. Self-respect isn't just about setting boundaries with others. It's about the boundaries you set with yourself. It's about the promises you keep to yourself, the standards you refuse to lower, and the vision you have for your life. When you honor yourself, you radiate an energy that commands respect from others. You no longer tolerate behavior that diminishes you, and that shift doesn't go unnoticed. Choosing silence and self-respect is not an easy path, but it's a transformative one. It requires restraint, patience, and a deep trust in yourself and your journey. It's about knowing that the best way to make an impact is not through confrontation, but through elevation. When you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, you naturally rise above the noise. And as you rise, the people who doubted you will be left wondering how they missed what was right in front of them. There's something profoundly magnetic about a person who respects themselves enough to walk away from situations that no longer serve them. It's not an act of arrogance, it's an act of self-preservation. It's a statement that says, "I value myself too much to settle for less than I deserve." That kind of strength leaves a lasting impression. It's the kind of quiet move that lingers in the minds of others long after the words have faded. But let's be clear, Silence isn't about bottling up your emotions or avoiding confrontation when it's necessary. It's about being intentional. It's about knowing when to speak and when to let your silence do the talking. It's about understanding that your energy is precious and not everyone is worthy of receiving it. It's a balance, and finding that balance is part of the journey. When you choose silence and self-respect, you shift the focus from external validation to internal growth. You stop seeking approval from others and start seeking alignment with your own values. You become the kind of person who doesn't just talk about change, you embody it. And that embodiment speaks volumes. So what does this mean for you today? It means recognizing that your silence can be a tool for transformation, not just for yourself, but for those around you. It means understanding that self-respect is the foundation for every decision you make. And it means trusting that, in time, those who doubted you will see the strength in your silence and the power in your self-respect. As you navigate your journey, remember this: silence isn't the absence of words, it's the presence of wisdom. It's the strength to know when to walk away, the courage to stand firm in your worth, and the confidence to let your growth speak for itself. Choose silence when words are unnecessary. Choose self-respect when your value is questioned. And watch as the world adjusts to the quiet strength you bring. The truth is this: when you stand in the power of your silence and the foundation of your self-respect, you don't just leave others speechless, you inspire them to rise to meet you. And that, my friends, is a legacy worth leaving behind. The quiet strength of investing in yourself. There's a quiet kind of power in turning your focus inward, in choosing to invest in yourself even when the world seems indifferent. When life challenges you, or when people fail to see your value, the temptation to seek external validation can be overwhelming. But let me tell you something. The greatest validation you'll ever experience comes from within. It's in the moments when you choose growth over comfort, discipline over distraction, and purpose over applause. That's where true transformation begins. Investing in yourself isn't about selfishness or arrogance. It's about recognizing your God-given potential and honoring it with action. Think about it. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you certainly can't expect anyone else to fill it for you. When you prioritize your growth, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually, and physically, you lay the foundation for a life that isn't just about survival, but about thriving. Let's talk about the spiritual aspect first, because everything flows from there. When you deepen your relationship with God, you tap into a source of strength, guidance, and purpose that is unshakable. Prayer, meditation, and reflection aren't just rituals, they're tools for alignment. They help you understand who you are in God's eyes, which is far more important than how others see you. And when you stand in that truth, you move differently. You speak with conviction, act with integrity, and live with purpose. But let's not stop there. Investing in your emotional well-being is just as crucial. Life will test you, relationships will challenge you, and people will disappoint you. But how you respond is what sets you apart. Emotional maturity doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from facing it, learning from it, and using it as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. It's about setting boundaries, letting go of what no longer serves you, and cultivating relationships that uplift rather than drain you. Then there's intellectual growth. Never stop learning, whether it's through reading, taking courses, or simply staying curious. Expanding your knowledge equips you with tools to navigate the world with wisdom and resilience. Knowledge isn't just power, it's freedom. The more you know, the less you're controlled by fear, doubt, or the opinions of others. And finally, let's talk about physical well-being. This isn't about vanity, it's about stewardship. Your body is a temple, and how you care for it reflects how much you value the life you've been given. Exercise, nutrition, rest. These aren't just habits, they're acts of self-respect. And when you feel good physically, it's amazing how that confidence carries over into every other area of your life. Here's the thing, investing in yourself isn't always glamorous. It's not about Instagram-worthy moments or overnight transformations. It's about the quiet, consistent decisions you make every single day. It's waking up early to pray or journal when you'd rather hit snooze. It's choosing to read a book instead of scrolling through your phone. It's saying no to toxic relationships, even when it's hard. It's going to the gym when you don't feel like it. These small acts of discipline compound over time, creating a version of you that even you will be amazed by. But here's the beautiful part. As you invest in yourself, something incredible happens. People start to notice, not because you're trying to impress them, but because your growth is undeniable. The energy you carry, the confidence you exude, the way you handle challenges with grace, it's magnetic. And for those who once overlooked you or underestimated you, it's a wake-up call. They see what they missed, and trust me, that realization stays with them. Yet the goal isn't to make others regret losing you. It's to become someone you're proud of, someone who fulfills their God-given potential. Regret from others is just a byproduct. The true reward is the peace and fulfillment you gain from knowing you're living in alignment with your purpose. So, if you've been feeling undervalued or overlooked, don't waste energy trying to change other people's perceptions. Instead, channel that energy into becoming the best version of yourself. Pray harder, learn more, set higher standards, and take care of your mind, body, and spirit. Because when you do, you don't just change your life, you change the atmosphere around you. In the end, the greatest investment you'll ever make is in yourself, and the return on that investment is immeasurable. It's a life of purpose, resilience, and joy. It's the ability to stand tall knowing that your worth isn't determined by anyone else. It's the quiet strength that leaves others speechless, not because you sought their approval, but because you became someone who doesn't need it. So here's my challenge to you. Start today. Take one small step toward investing in yourself. Whether it's praying for clarity, reading a chapter of a book, or simply getting more sleep, begin where you are, because every small step adds up to a big transformation. And as you grow, you'll find that the world doesn't just watch. You inspire it to rise to your level. That's the kind of legacy worth leaving. The power of moving forward in silence. There's a unique strength in silence, a power that is often underestimated. In a world filled with noise, constant chatter, unsolicited opinions, and the relentless pursuit of validation, the choice to move forward quietly is revolutionary. It's a declaration that you trust the process, that you trust God, and that you trust yourself. Because here's the truth. Progress doesn't require an audience, and healing doesn't demand a performance. Sometimes the most significant transformations happen in the quiet, away from the spotlight. When someone has wronged you, disrespected you, or taken you for granted, the natural response might be to make noise, to explain yourself, defend your worth, or even retaliate. But let me tell you something powerful. Silence speaks louder than words ever could. It communicates that you're not tethered to their perception of you, that their actions don't define your trajectory. It says, I'm moving forward, with or without your approval. Moving forward in silence doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or ignoring the pain. It means choosing to channel that pain into purpose. It's about using every disappointment, every betrayal, and every heartache as fuel to become better, stronger, and wiser. Think of it as planting seeds in the soil of adversity. At first, the growth is invisible, but with time, patience, and perseverance, those seeds bloom into something extraordinary, something that doesn't just survive, but thrives. There's a deep spiritual aspect to this as well. When you move forward in silence, you're giving God room to work. You're saying, Lord, I trust you to fight this battle for me. I trust you to vindicate me, to heal me, and to guide me. And let me tell you, when you allow God to take the lead, the results are far beyond anything you could have orchestrated on your own. The Bible says, be still and know that I am God. That stillness isn't passive, it's active faith. It's the kind of faith that trusts the unseen and believes in the impossible. But let's make this practical. Moving forward in silence doesn't mean you stop doing the work. It means you stop announcing it. You don't need to broadcast your plans, your progress, or your pain. Instead, you let your actions speak for themselves. You focus on building, growing, and evolving. And when the results become visible, they won't just speak, they'll shout. Think about some of the greatest success stories. They didn't start with fanfare. They started with quiet determination, often in the face of doubt and criticism. They started with individuals who decided to focus on the work, not the applause. That's the mindset you need to adopt, whether it's starting a new project, healing from a broken relationship, or pursuing a lifelong dream. Do it quietly. Let the world see the fruit of your labor, not the labor itself. Now, let's address the emotional aspect of silence. It's not always easy to keep quiet, especially when you're hurt or misunderstood. But silence isn't about weakness, it's about control. It's about choosing not to react out of anger or pain, but responding with wisdom and grace. And here's the beautiful part. When you practice this kind of control, you not only protect your peace, but you also command respect. People may not always understand your silence, but they will notice it. And often it leaves a lasting impact that words never could. Silence also gives you clarity. When you're not caught up in the noise, you can hear yourself think. You can discern what truly matters and what doesn't. You can identify your priorities and align your actions with your values. And most importantly, you can hear God's voice, guiding you toward your purpose. But let's be clear, moving forward in silence doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means being selective about who you share your journey with. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who respect your boundaries, and who celebrate your growth without jealousy or judgment. Those are the voices worth listening to. So what happens when you choose to move forward in silence? Transformation, healing, growth, and eventually realization, not just for you, but for those who underestimated you. When they see you thriving, when they witness your quiet strength, it leaves an impression. It's not about making them regret losing you. It's about showing them and yourself what you're truly capable of. And let me leave you with this. Silence isn't the absence of sound. It's the presence of focus, purpose, and strength. It's the space where God works, where growth happens, and where you find yourself. So, the next time you're tempted to explain, defend, or retaliate, remember this. Your silence is your power. Use it wisely. Move forward in faith, move forward in purpose, move forward in silence, and when the time is right, let your success speak for itself.